This week, the leaves are like flowers, but the trees are losing them because it's fall. We're losing our egos if we dare to give them up. It's that time of year astrologically. Look inwardly and see what you need to let go of. Welcome. Hi there, Leo, and welcome to your modern shaman, Maria and RainbowLand, here with the weekly astrological forecast for the week that starts at the 22nd and ends at the 29th of October 2018. This is your Heartful report. So the first part of the program is definitely just gonna be for the Leos. And then if you want to see it, we will draw some cards for you guys. And then afterwards we'll have the collective parts where we'll go deeper into the things at a deeper level. So for the ones that just want the fast version, this is it. So this week we are having the sun moving into your 4th house in Scorpio. This means that finally it seems like there will be at least just a little more time and focus upon your home life, your foundation, your personal feelings, you withdrawing from the world, being with your family, having time for yourself. Or is it now? Because at the same time we're having a full moon in conjunction with Uranus in your opposite sign, where it's all about your work, your career, your face in the world, what it is that you do, the legacies you want to leave behind, the legacy. So this is a fine balance you need to find. So different things are going on this week. At the middle of the week we have a the Sun-Venus conjunction here. So this is definitely going to be you wanting to relax more, have rests here, enjoy life here. Only be social if it's with your people that you feel like is family, where you can be yourself entirely, just kick off the shoes and walk around in big fluffy shoes, your home shoes or whatever it's called. That's a Danish word for it. And just enjoy life and make good food that's nurturing and have people around you that will care to nurture you. But at the same time, with the full moon on Tuesday, you will feel definitely that suddenly there's a demand for you at work. There's something that you suddenly need to do, a change of plans within your work situation, where you need to do something extra at work. Someone is sick and you have to do the duty that they had to do and have extra responsibility. Or someone, if you're independent, suddenly wants to book you for something, or depending on who you are and what situation, it can also just be other things that has something to do with that, where you suddenly have to be on. It doesn't have to be work, it can also just be a social interaction where you have to skip that desire to be at home. Let's look at the fire while I'm talking also. You're a fire sign, we want to see the fire. So with the full moon Wednesday, you want to see something happen in your worldly interaction. So you have also with Uranus here some restlessness and some radical energy. So yeah, but here, there's something that can affect the time that you really need to use at home, the time that I talked about at the beginning. But at the same time, we have Venus in a good aspect to Saturn this week as well. So if you want to redecorate your home or restructure something around your home, because it's also your 6th house with Saturn there, have new structures about something that you do at home, or something that is there at home. There can be some good positive energy floating here in that direction. Also something to do with your work, maybe you work at home in a nice way. You're able to just do that work at home. But at the same time we have this T-square between Uranus and the North Node and the South Node, and we have the North Node in your 1st house, and that has something to do with your individual life. You need to be an individual, and that is in attention with the need to be at home also, because actually it's a grand square. So there will be a demand maybe from someone from your work life, Uranus, or someone at home, a partner maybe also, because it's the South Node is up there and in your 7th house, so your worldly interactions, or maybe there was someone that just demand of you that you have to be more
available here and there and everywhere, and then maybe there's some kind of issue somewhere, or there's some kind of case where you have been stubborn, or because it is in the fixed sign, so something to do with stubbornness perhaps, where you've been fixed upon that, okay, this is the only way I can do it, or this is how I want to do it, or and now you have to rethink about something here in this regards, and there's good possibilities if you open up towards a new thing, a new way of thinking, a new way of doing something, a new way of reacting and responding to someone's demands, or someone asking for you to change in some way, identity-wise, family-wise, relationship-wise, or career-wise. Because it's a grand square between those four, so it will be triggered somewhere in this chart, and one will affect the other. And now let's see with the cards of the week. We start with the astrology cards, which are interesting cards, just astrology, and then we'll go into the tarot card afterwards. So astrology card of the week is for the Leos. This one. Sagittarius, I see. So you need to see clear. You need to broaden your horizon. Here, you're looking for the truth, not your ego, not nothing but that. Here you want to know the truth. Here you want to expand your mind. Here you really want to open up towards a broader perspective. Maybe even a new belief system. Doesn't have to change the one you already do, but maybe a broadening of that belief system that you already have. And the belief systems, by belief system, I mean the way you look upon the world. Maybe if that changes, our whole world can change. So maybe you need a change of perspective this week and see things in another light. Even though you used to judge that, oh, if things are like that, then this is also like that. But maybe you, oops. Yeah, this suit has been in the fire almost. Woo! Speaking of fire, it got a little hot suddenly. So this week, maybe time for you to change perspective if you want to change your life. Put the right boundaries up for yourself in your home and family life. So card of the week, whoops, it flip-flopped. There was a card, 2 cards fell to the floor. They fell to the floor. Oh, here they are. Those are the ones we're gonna take. Okay. If you want to purify yourself, also in regards to relationships to others, the star is the Aquarius card, which is the 7th house of your relationship, this one over here. She's naked because she purified her mind and herself, and she's ready to share and give of her wisdom. But she might need to cut some cords to some old thought patterns and start a new way of thinking about life. It's the Page of Wands. Don't follow trends, follow your heart. Remember to like, share and subscribe if you want to. Comment. And of course remember, don't follow trends, follow your heart. Apparently I drew on my finger. So now the collective report if you want to see it. Thanks for watching. Ciao.
Be still, quiet your mind. We are now at the collective report. We're traveling through nature. And the first message here is, be still and quiet your mind and your life. This is more important than anything else that I say in any report. Be so still that you can touch your heart and hear your heart beat. Tick, tick, tick. Without this, all of these reports that I do or that you hear are so very unimportant, because if you're never still, if you never quiet your mind and hear the heart speak, then your ego is running the train. And you'll be driving around in circles. If you want to get off the train and come to another level, time is up now to find your way into silence and stillness. And believe in that you dare let go of your ego and hear and listen to the needs of your higher self. Do you dare to become a servant for something bigger than the ego? Something as a part of you already know the road towards? Or are success and control and all your learned programming is more important to you? Have you even discovered who you are or what your calling is? Can you feel this consciously? Or are there too much clutter and dirt? If there is too much clutter and dirt, you know what step 1 will be now. To try to don't identify yourself with the noisy voices inside a certain place, which is overruling anything good anyways. It's not giving you any joy, and it's overruling anything inside of you. And this part of you cannot forgive. This part of you will just hold on in order to get drama. Get you in the front seat. Get you in the front of everything you do. You are the loving, forgiving you. Someone who doesn't hold on. Someone who says no to negative manipulation, violence, and power. Who's, whenever confronted, just leaves without a fight, quietly and peacefully, if it's not right for you to be there. And if we cannot say no and stay in this peaceful, quiet ego state where the ego is quiet and you just hear the voice of your heart when you speak, you hear that you are soft in your voice, you hear that there's nothing inside of you that judges the other person, you feel your heart, you feel that you can speak without wanting something from someone else, then your ego is away. And if someone's overstepping your boundaries, you just say no peacefully with the same voice and you walk away. If you start fighting, you will know that it's no longer you. It's your ego that has started to take over again. My brother, Jacob, he's a math professor. And I love him so dearly. We have had some sort of reunion. Not that we were at a phase where we never saw each other, but we reconnected in our hearts in such a beautiful way. And I remember 3 days ago, prior to this reading, and I remember that he would always have in his wallet when I was 16 a note that said, no, when he was 16, I was 8, a note that said, treat others like you want to be treated yourself. And he was 16 and he was actually the popular guy in school. And isn't it cool that the popular guy is a role model instead of just someone looking good? I love my brother for this. He always tried as the best he could. I mean, we all have ours. But as my parents also always tried to treat others kindly. And this is this kind part of our hearts that I'm talking about. I just want to say that anyone who has a lot in Scorpio and certain things in their horoscope that are being hit, the crises are worse for you guys right now. So old fear can be triggered from outside of you to the max, and you have to remember that the ones who are triggering it are not the responsible ones for you having this inside of you. So try not to go into the victim role, where you let your old fears take you down to that lower part of yourself where you cannot control anything because you're just in affection, thinking you're now being hit or being the victim, being someone who is a victim for someone else. No, someone else is trying to show you something. It's like that for all of us. Old fear are triggered from the outside to the max these days. So Venus is definitely in her crisis week right now. She's squaring the stuff that went up there in Aquarius. I won't go too deep into all this. So the Venus-Uranus opposition and all this also from last week. Going into this week, you can expect a sudden turn of events of something. The moon will go through Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. So the moon will start off trying to start new stuff up with energy and a lot of, let's do this, oomph and fire and maybe also selfishness, but it will square the things up there in the 10th house, so there will be some confrontations with authority figures and some letting go. And during the first part of the week, moves into Taurus, crosses over Uranus, and is in opposition to all the things in Scorpio. This means that we will definitely feel tense and increased tension around the things we're working with right now as we move into the middle part of the week. And as we were Wednesday, as it meets Uranus, a sudden shift, change of events can happen again. Then at the weekend, next week, it will be in Gemini, communicating, talking, being out and about, King Kongsing. The things in Scorpio, weird, awkward things can come up as well, situations. But the energy will be a little lighter than it was middle week. But definitely an intense week still, as we are now, really in Scorpio. So with the sun as well. So there's different change of directions with Venus in this Venus retrograde phase that I've mentioned many times, which is 40 days and nights until the 15th of November, and then out of the actual whole cycle at the 18th of December. So it's a long cycle, but there will be shifts for you around the 31st of October when Venus is in Libra again, where she's at home. More light air energy instead of Scorpio. So a shift on the 31st of October. A shift again on the 16th of November, or 15th, 16th, depending on where you are, when she's at the bottom of her bow tie in her retrograde phase. You will now feel that you are able to move forward with a new light and new glasses on, and all the very, very deep and hardest issues in your relationships might be possible to let go of here, but only if you really feel them, so it also feels the hardest. So at the 2nd of December, she'll be back into Scorpio again in opposition to Uranus, so a lot can happen here too. There's a turning point that does so that the things that you thought were like they were aren't like that at all. And we are going through over the critical zone again here and see what the future can bring for us after all of this. What have we learned? How can we do this even better when we're in relationships? Can we redecide some of the things that we decided for early on that we maybe discovered weren't the right things for us, but we learned from. For the Scorpios themselves, relationship situations shift constantly now, new people in and out constantly. So there's a full moon this week, as I said, so it's going to be a very intense week. Venus opposition to Uranus, something really strong, some really strong intensity comes in, and the notes are squaring Uranus, as we talked about. That is really intense in this Grand Cross. So money and intensity and sexuality are the things that's going on in Scorpio. So other people's money, your money, what do we do with money? Money we share with other people, sexually reshaping, redoing, reformulating things in regards to these things. with Venus retrograde here and Jupiter, Mercury is here, Sun is here. So it's all about relationships on a deep level, also the relationship to ourselves. So all water signs are endings, and the first 6 signs in the zodiac are personal signs. They are all about me, I am, I have, I think, I feel, etc. And the next 6 are the impersonal signs, and we have entered a month ago the impersonal signs, where it's about us and the other people in different levels. So usually something new starts in Aries, and Aries is the unconscious energy, sign number 1, and the actions through Taurus and Gemini and Cancers are unconscious about what it's doing, and it ends, this unconscious doing and moving about, etc., is ending in Cancer, in the water sign of Cancer, the 4th sign. So we go through fire, earth, air, water. So we start with the fire in Aries, we go into the earth energy, calm down, feeling can be heavy in Taurus. Then we go to the air energy, talk about lightness, skirting over the surface in Gemini. And then a little bit heavy with water. It's always heavy because it seeks towards the ground, right? And dies is flushed away with the water in Cancer. That was the unconscious energy and actions. And then we'll have a self-conscious period with Leo, where it starts again with fire. And then ideas, and going into Virgo, where it's earth energy, grounding them, manifesting, materializing the ideas there. And then the self-consciousness moves into Libra and develops in regards to relationships, and then into water again. Libra was also air, talk, being about in a lighter thing, and then going into Scorpio, into water signs, where we are now killing the self-consciousness, because we are now in the transpersonal signs and the transpersonal cycle when it starts in Sagittarius, but we have to kill it first in Scorpio. It's a cycle, and this is how we learn and grow on a spiritual and personal level through the zodiac. So everything, Jupiter, Sun, Venus and Mercury are in the Scorpio, so it's the death of our self-consciousness, and it's really spiritual, mega spiritual, a really mega big spiritual opportunity to ascend, of course. Ascension time, spiritual people, light workers, let go of your ego now, and your hurt and your wounds and your blaming others. It's your past you're letting go of. Don't kill the messengers, please. All of our challenges here as spiritual beings are often our ego, that often are more here in the self-conscious and unconscious part of the first 6 signs. But now we have the chance to really move. So even though we have a higher self, and even though we have souls in this whole story, and we are beings, souls in bodies here that usually are just infinite beings in contact with everything, with God or whatever, and then we are also incarnated in this body, in this incarnation, life after life. And in this body we have an ego that loves drama, and this ego is making the big show, which does that we are effing around in our minds, and we cannot find this moderation and relaxations, because desires, wants, and I want more and bigger, new and better, drama, attention. It's the ego. So that it doesn't have to be removed, it'll just be more and more noisy as you try to get silence. So when you start meditating, trying to get into your silence I talked about in the beginning, you have to know that the ego will be louder. Don't be fooled by it. Stop being the victim of your ego, of other people feeling like it. See that you create your reality. Okay, there's a reason why people do towards you what they do. Find out why. It's because you're not in your heart. Always is because you're not in your trust position of the heart. Yeah, well, it's because Peter was also always a jerk, so of course I cannot trust him. No, but if you really cannot trust Peter, why are you with 3 Peter? Did you give him a chance of being trusted with all of your heart and love? What did you contribute with? Did you dare to walk away from him and treat yourself with that love and respect that you want from others? Because that's what you have to do if you want love and respect. Well, so physically and emotional drama is what the ego wants, and pleasure. So the brain that won't stop thinking is Mercury, rational thoughts. But in Scorpio, Mercury cannot be rational. He will feel the intensity. Usually he wants to say that, if I do this and this, then that and that happens. But here he doesn't have control. But he can see with his heart and his feelings if he dares to. So try to use him to investigate, be the detective, as I said last week. So, well, the ego comes up in Leo, and then we have to go to Virgo to get the control of the whole thing. So, Venus is reviewing our connections also to the body. Venus, and actually Venus is the earthly love, but we also have a more spiritual love with Neptune, and Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So when Venus goes direct, you'll be coming into a beautiful trine with Neptune. Well, it will still be a while, and Jupiter is going through Scorpio, and he will come into grand trine with Chiron. So there will be beautiful, higher spiritual love waiting for us after this ascension process. Don't hold your breath, but know deep inside your heart that everything will be solved and healed if you dare to let go of your need to control. In Scorpio, we're dealing with issues like loss, betrayal, abandonment, neglect, and abuse, forces beyond our controls, from our partners, ourselves, and our impulses, instincts, and a power through merging with other people and uniting on a deep level. This is connection. The deepest connections is in Scorpio with sexual drive, sexual power and force. And society is ruled by this these days, this force, because it's beyond, it's like the stimulus, like alcohol, drugs, and sex has become a drug, and it's just so accepted because everyone does it, then it's okay. It's like also okay, also like in Denmark, people drink a lot. And it's like, well, everyone does it, so that's normal and thereby accepted. Yeah, but when you drink, you are if you work on your spiritual self, and whenever you drink, you have to know that takes you, because spirituality, when you clear yourself spiritually and meditate, you get into higher levels, higher realms, and every time you drink, you take yourself all the way down again. You have to start all over. And the same thing with sexual stimulants, wanting more. You're just feeding the ego, right? So, we have to open ourselves in Scorpio for the positive sides of Scorpio, and that has something to do with trust, so that we can heal these wounds and love and trust again. So we can open ourselves up for deeper forms of intimacy, connections to others. And the whole intention is to experience this beautiful, sacred sexuality where we connect with our soulmates, our twin flames, on a spiritual level, not just to get stimuli and not just to... But we also have to know that, of course, we take away some of our spirituality if we just use as the sexual intercourse to get an... I just want to be honest here. I don't remember the English word now. When we get release, males or females, our spirituality also drops. So if this is what we want, and we do this after 2 minutes just to get the release, boom, the energy goes out. We have to know that. But if we use this thing we have with each other to go deeper within, then it's something else. We can experience this beautiful, sacred sexuality. And in the society, stimulus has something to do with something new and exciting, with all this Tinder and stuff. But sacred union is about real, lasting stimuli for the soul that we can use in the long run as a soul being, even when we're not here. It's when we can reach deeper in, when we are together with our partner instead. But how do we do it? Well, exploring spirituality between us and reach new and fresh layers inside of ourselves, instead of always seeking outwards as the whole of society is trying to make us. Like this new times relationships, spiritual relationship will be that we will stay together, and more twin flames will incarnate at the same time to rise up the vibrational level here on the planet. And it's our responsibility to go deeper in as conscious light workers, instead of fearing into new relationships, unless it's supposed to happen, of course. But when we know we found the right person, then use the hard times to instead take responsibility for ourselves, help each other through the hard times. Help each other when the ego comes out. Instead of just always saying, okay, you're not good enough, I don't want you, you have too many errors, then help the soul, goddammit, instead of just escaping and putting more fear into the person. Try to help, and you'll get it back. We get what we give. It's the whole deal. Yeah. So soon enough we'll have Jupiter and Saturn, and expand our consciousness, have fun, explore life on another level. So where do you get your physical and emotional pleasure from? Last thing today, it was a long report, is that if we really want to love, we have to let go of the hurt ego and forgive. The more you feed your ego, the more hurt you will get. The more you feed your ego, the louder it shouts. And when it wants this and that in supermarket, and you just give it to it, it will just shout louder. And that's why it's good to meditate and find soul peace and find out what you actually came here to do on a soul level. What is your purpose? If you can't pinpoint it mentally, then go into your heart and feel every day when you walk around, am I doing something that makes my heart happy? It can just be that you start smiling to other people and spreading love and joy just like that. It's a simple thing. We don't all have to become like this big, great thing. It's just a society that says that. Find your path. Maybe your soul purpose is just to put smiles into this world. Don't follow trends, follow your heart. See you next week. Thank you. Namaste.
There is this angel saying, I'm gonna find my way back home. The secret is love, he said. You've got to lift yourself up, try again. One day you will break through. What you long for will find you.
Don't follow trends, follow your heart.